welcome back to Reloading Journey. Today I just want to go over what I found, that different velocities through the different barrel lengths. I mean, we all know you got a longer barrel, especially in rifles and stuff, for faster, higher velocity. I was surprised. I went out and tested some rounds between, and I don't have it here with me, but my Glock 34 and the Atlas. Now the Glock 34 has a 5.13 inch barrel, and the Atlas has a 4.60 barrel. So just about 0.53, just a little over a half an inch difference between the two. And I was running on average about 57 feet per second less, which is no big deal, but I was checking it for power factor. Being in the USPSA matches and stuff like that, we want to stay in our power factor. We want to stay as low as we can to keep the recoil as light as we can. So what I found is with the Atlas, I was averaging 1,178 feet per second, and that was putting my power factor at 135. I'm sorry, that was the Glock. Jesus. that was the Glock. The Glock was running 1,178 feet per second, power factor of 135. Same rounds ran through the Atlas. It was running 1,121 feet per second. So I think it was 57 feet per second less on average, and the power factor was at 129. So about 6 points on the power factor. Now, for the matches, I want to keep our power factor around 130. We can be anywhere from 125 up to 160. Then you get in a major, and we don't need to be anywhere near that. I want to stay at 120 or 130 on average to give me some leeway if a round drops below it or whatever. I don't want to be below the 125. So what I found is whenever I was reloading for them, if I load 2 grains lighter for the 34 than I do for the Atlas, that gets them both right around 130 power factor. But I was surprised seeing 57, seeing that, like I said, 57 feet per second. I don't know if, in the whole scheme of things, if that's a lot. It really affected our power factor, and that's what matters. But it just kind of got me to thinking. So what I did is I'm going to take some rounds out. I'm going to take the 34 with the 5.3 inch barrel, the Atlas with the 4.6 inch barrel. Then I've got my 19 with the 4.02 inch barrel, and then the Glock 34, which I hate this gun, but it's my wife's gun. I hate shooting it, with a 3.14 inch barrel. So each drop from the 34 to the Atlas is a 0.53 inch barrel drop, or a little over half inch. Dropping from the Atlas to the Glock 19 is a 0.58, so a little more than a half inch. And then going from the 19 to the 34 is a 0.88 inch, almost a full inch difference. And then going from the 34 down to the going from the 34 down to the 43 is a full 2 inches. It's 1.99 inches. So that's a big drop. So I want to see, with a half inch difference between these two, I was seeing 57 feet per second. Am I going to see about that going from the Atlas, from the 4.6 to the 5.02, dropping another half inch? Am I going to see right around that? And then dropping down again. Now from the 34 down to the 43, that's a 2 inch difference. That is 3.75 times the difference that we see from the 34 to the Atlas, and a half inch. That's 3.75 times greater, dropping it, if I'm making sense on any of this. So am I able to multiply that 34 grains, or 57 feet per second times 3.75? Am I going to see a 214 feet per second difference when I go from the 34 down to the 43? I don't know. Let's find out. So what I did to try to get away all variables, I'm using capital cartridge brass, and it's once fired range brass, all different head stamps. So what I did is, I'll put it up here, I went through and found as many matching head stamps as I could, and I found a whole lot of Blazer. So you can see I pulled them out, and you can see my eyes are so bad I had to use my reading glasses and the magnifier. But I pulled a bunch of those out, and then I actually went through and weighed them and found anywhere from them being at 43 grains all the way up to 60 grains. So I tried to get them as equal as I could, and I found a whole bunch of them, about 80 of them right there within about a half a grain, anywhere from, I think it was 54.2 to 54.7. And so I set all those aside. I checked the bullets I have, just weighed a few of those. They're Extreme bullets from Extreme. They're 124 grain, full metal jacket, round nose, and they were just right on the money. They're fucking great. Sorry about the bad word. And then loading them all with the same powder, everything. So hopefully there's no variables in the bullets, and I can get some good data with shooting these, and then come back and just see what we found out. And so next time you'll see me, I'll be out at the range, and then after that we'll come back here and kind of go over the data and see what we figured out. See you at the range. All right, here we are out at the range. First gun up is going to be the Atlas Athena, and let's go ahead and get started. Well, looks like the next gun up is the little guy, the 43. Oh, you 1,140. Fuck, I hate this gun. I'm gonna edit that out. God. Damn it. Next up, I'm gonna do the 19. See if I can not hit my. Okay, last but not least is the 34. I don't have a magazine for this. I forgot to get it from my son, so I'm gonna have to single load each one. I know this isn't great on the extractor, but it'll work. Okay, back from the range, and I gotta say the findings were a little different than what I was kind of expecting, but I do have a theory on why, and we'll see where it goes from there. But I'm just going to go over the data first, and then we'll talk about it. So the 34, all of these are 10. I ran more than 10 rounds and took out any outliers and got it as tight in the middle as I could. They were all pretty good. There wasn't a whole lot of anything out there. So the 34, I'll put them up here. The average velocity was 1,133. Power factor average was a 140. The Atlas, the average velocity 1,072. That's 61 feet per second lower, and the last test I did was 57, so it's right there, right close. Power factor of 132. Dropping down to the 19, the average speed was 1,084. I don't know if you caught that. We'll get into it. And the power factor was 134. And then dropping down to the 43, the average speed was 1,034. average power factor of 128. Now, what I was talking about, I don't know if you caught it or not, from the 34, we're dropping down 5/10 of an inch, or a half an inch, 50.53, and we're looking at 67 feet per second slower in that drop. Now, from the Atlas to the Glock 19, we're dropping down, what was it, 0.58 tenths of a, or, you know, a little over half an inch. And we're actually seeing 12 feet per second faster in the Glock with the shorter barrel than we are in the Atlas. And well, let's go ahead and do the next one, and then we'll talk about why I think that is. And then going from the 19 down to the 43, we're looking at a 0.88, almost a full inch. And we're looking at 50 feet per second drop on that. Not kind of what I was expecting with that much, but I think there's some reasons why. So my thoughts on the Atlas from the 34 to the Atlas and the Atlas to the 34, the Atlas is an outlier. It shouldn't be in this. I want to revisit this, and I want to try to see if I find somebody that has a 17, and I can go all the way down and kind of do it better. But the outlier is everything I found, the information I found from the 34, the 19, and the 43, they all have a 19 or 17 pound, yes, all these guns are empty, except for this one, and this one has just a red dot laser in it, or, you know. But they all have a 17 inch or 17 pound recoil spring, where the Atlas only has a, what was it, a 9 pound? Yes, a 9 pound, very soft. So with that, now we're getting into physics and Newton's third law, action and reaction, third law of motion. You know, his third law states for every action or force in nature, there's an equal and opposite reaction. If object A, so let's just say the recoil spring, exerts force on object B, the case as it's pushing back, object B also. So this is, all of these are exerting that 17 pounds. So that bullet's being pushed forward. This is real layman's here. I'm not a physicist. But I kind of understand it. But I don't know if I can explain it well. So the recoil spring plus the slide and everything is putting 17 pounds of force against that bullet pushing against it, where the Atlas is only doing 9 pounds. And I kind of equate that to, in my mind, I just came up with this little, you know, let's say I'm standing in a pool. I'm 270 pounds. Somebody comes up and they put their feet against me, crouch up, put their feet against me, and kick off of me. I'm going to go back with the equal force that they're going forward. Now do that same thing with let's say my son. My son's 200 pounds. They put his feet here, they kick off. They're going to go forward slower because they're going to push against him. You know, they're only going to have 200 pounds pushing against them versus that 270 pounds. Does that make sense? So the same thing here. Of course, the slide's heavier on this than they are on this, so it may not be that full. There's other variables in there, but I think that's our main culprit. That's why we saw a drop and a half inch here and then sped up. We dropped down a half inch from here to here, but the velocity went up 12 feet per second. And I would bet anything that it's on that recoil spring it's stronger. So again, I want to revisit this with the 34, see if I can find somebody with a 17 and let me borrow it, the 19 and the 43, and kind of see those drops. Because even now, even from the drop from the, I was kind of surprised, you know, going down a half inch from the 19 to the 43, we're only seeing 50 feet per second. But I mean, could that be because it's such a short recoil that 14 inches or that 17 inches of pressure works out to be higher because it's such a short spring? That spring's going to compress quicker, so that now that 17 might, I don't know. But anyways, I'd love to hear you guys' comments on it. It was kind of interesting to see what came of it. And again, you know, all of this, everything's learning. You know, I could probably get online and research a lot of this and find out, but it's more fun to do it myself and do these videos. And I learn a lot more. For me, I learn a lot more by doing. I've never been good in books and learning that way. I was always a hands-on. So I get hands-on and I just try to do stuff. So I'd love to hear you guys' take on it. Any information you can add to it. Anything I'm wrong on. You know, if my theory of the recoil springs, I don't think it is, but if it is, let me know. You know, if there's something else between the guns that could be it, let me know. Let's learn. So that's it for this one. I don't think there's anything else to add to it. It was pretty interesting, at least to me, and I hope you found it interesting. So please like, subscribe, share, and I'll try to get more videos out there quick. Thanks for stopping by.